We were at the Minnesota Twins baseball game because my brother loved baseball, and we would go like be way up in the nosebleeds because we didn't have a lot of money, but it was a really big deal that we went to the baseball game. It was such a big deal because you drive, like we're living in like farmland, so you drive to like the cities, the Twin Cities, like an hour drive. And it was such a highlight. We're driving home and it was my mom, her boyfriend, and us 3 kids in the back. And we were like sleeping because we were driving home from a late night game, and he had an episode where he just started lashing out, and like he was driving and he basically like he had this big ring that he would wear, and he like went like this and like hit my mom. I just remember her like just like blood everywhere, and like gosh, I think I was like 7 years old or something, and like just panicked because I had been sleeping, and it just was like turbulence, and they pulled to the side of the road, and it was like, what is going on? And who I really feel for is my brother, because my brother is 7 years older than me, and so he was like helpless, right? This young little man was like, what do I do? And what ended up happening is we were like a block away from the house, so he got out of the car and he told my mom just to drive home, and like left us. So us kids are like screaming in the back. My mom's like bleeding. He gets out of the car and he's like storming, and we're like, he's probably going to the bar because he had an alcohol problem. And so my mom drives us home, and we like are so frantic, and she's trying to like ice her face and whatever. And she's like trying to like get us ready for bed, and like, now that I'm older, I'm like, how did she even do this, right? She's putting on our little princess PJs and all the things and tucking us into our little mermaid sheets. And I don't know how much time passed, but he came back, and like he was like roaring, like fuming. And I just remember like hearing screams, like insanely loud screams. It was like my mom was just getting beat, and it was like horrible. Like, and my sister and I had bunk beds. We had this tiny little house, and he like ran in our bedroom, and at that time we had the old-fashioned phones that used to plug into the wall, and he unplugged it so we couldn't call the cops. And I remember I was like, oh my God, is he gonna like touch me or something? You know, I had no idea. And I don't even remember like how the night ended. I just remember my sister, like I crawled up into my sister's bunk bed, and like we just held each other and like cried. And that was just one instance of what went on for a really long time.
I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for sharing that. I have little boys who are 7 and 4. And I think when you're a mom and you think about how you would do anything to protect your kids, right, it's really unfathomable to understand how anybody could hurt a child, a woman, but especially how you could hurt a child.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry that you witnessed and went through that. So I want to take a breath with that. I think it's so powerful, Emily. I had seen in a few podcasts that you said you would never share this part of your story in the beginning. Right. And like you weren't sure if it was a part that you should have forward facing.
Right.
And I say this all the time about making your mess your message, but only when you've healed.
Yes.
And I feel like this is a part of your healing, is the sharing.